Okay, what I'm about to tell you is a story that sounds like it was ripped straight out of a horror movie, but it's not. It's a chilling and very true story about what can happen in the one place we're all supposed to feel the safest.
Imagine hearing that. They want to take my organs. Those were the frantic words of a 42-year-old man screaming as he ran from a hospital in the northern U.S. At first, the police just thought he was delirious. But what could possibly lead someone to make such a terrifying claim?
To really understand that desperate plea, we actually need to jump forward just 2 hours. A special tactical unit, acting on this man's frantic insistence, decided to raid the hospital's basement. And what they found in there, well, it would go on to shock the entire nation. So, the first thing they found was just a scene of pure horror. 4 living patients strapped down, completely helpless, in a place that was supposed to be about healing. And as they pushed deeper into the basement, the discoveries got even more sinister. Behind a false wall, they found 6 huge, unregistered medical refrigerators, the kind that are really only used for one very specific purpose.
And right there, next to those refrigerators, was a stack of 28 patient files. And every single one of them was marked with a disturbing, bold, red X. You see, this wasn't some one-off incident. This was a system.
The details in the tactical unit's report, I mean, they're just stomach-turning. They found one of the patients actually on a surgical table. Right beside them, a tray of tools, still stained with dried blood. This wasn't preparation for something. This was an operation that had been interrupted. So who was this man? The one whose desperate escape blew this whole thing wide open. How did he end up in this nightmare? And maybe more importantly, how in the world did he get out? Well, his name is Mark Delcourt, and he was just a regular guy, a 42-year-old mechanic who went to the hospital for a minor injury, something that should have been a totally routine visit. He was just an ordinary person who stumbled into an extraordinary, unimaginable evil. And this is where it gets so scary, how fast it all escalated. After he was admitted, Mark noticed his file had been altered. His minor injury was suddenly classified as irrecoverable. The next thing he knew, he was being moved to a locked wing labeled technical maintenance, where, get this, the cameras were all suspiciously turned away from his door.
So there he is, lying in that locked room, when he overhears 2 people whispering right outside his door. The words he heard, they confirmed his absolute worst fears. No family, we start tonight. He knew in that instant that being alone, that having no one to check on him, made him a target.
It was pure panic, pure adrenaline. He just acted. He ripped the IV from his own arm, forced his way into a ventilation duct, and just crawled his way to freedom. He didn't stop until he found the police. And this is what brings us full circle. You have Mark Delcourt, panicked and probably sounding completely unhinged, and a police force that has to decide right then and there whether they're going to believe this unbelievable story. At first, the officers were skeptical. I mean, you can hardly blame them. They figured he was just suffering from trauma from his accident. But Mark, he was insistent. He just kept repeating one crucial line over and over. There are more people alive in there. This wasn't just a plea for himself. He was trying to save others. And finally, just before 1 a.m, something in the sheer conviction of his voice made them listen. The tactical unit made the call. They were going to breach the hospital basement. And the raid, it confirmed Mark's entire story. The 4 living patients, the hidden room, the surgical tools, the refrigerators, and those 28 marked files. Every single part of his delirious panic was horrifyingly, terrifyingly real. As you can imagine, the fallout from this discovery was immediate and just immense. This wasn't just another crime story. No, this was about a violation of a sacred trust, and it tapped into this deep, unspoken fear that so many of us have. A hospital's promise is to protect the vulnerable. It's supposed to be the safest place for us when we're at our weakest. But for patients at this hospital, especially those without family to ask questions or check in, that promise was completely inverted. It became the most dangerous place they could possibly be. This story sent a shockwave across the whole country because it confirmed a fear many people don't even dare to speak aloud.
It forced a huge national conversation about safety, about oversight, and about what happens when the very institutions designed to care for us become compromised. It's just a story that really stays with you. And all of this leaves us with one deeply unsettling question, the same one Mark Delcourt was forced to confront in the most terrifying way imaginable. How safe are we really in the places we're supposed to trust the most?